Hey there, readers, writers, and friends. Story Serpent here, and today we are talking about the Animorphs, the graphic novelization of the series. It was originally written by K.A. Applegate, which is the husband and wife pair Catherine Applegate of the one and only Ivan, and her husband Michael Grant. When they write together, they're under the K.A. Applegate name. It was adapted by Chris Grine, and his illustrations are dope. And this first novelization was printed in 2020 by Graphics, the Scholastic graphic novel imprint. But before we get into all that, today's random words are like, share, subscribe, exoskeleton. So, as you can see, ugh, I read all 6 of the ones that have been released. The most recent release was book 6 in March. Now, I have not read the Animorphs series, the novels, because there are 54 of them. If you have a particularly precocious reader who will just gobble up books at the speed of light, might I suggest starting them on the Animorphs and making sure that your local library carries all 54. But if you have a reluctant reader who might be tempted to leapfrog into a series because they've only got books 1 through 6 as a graphic novel, this might be the trickiest way to get it done. Now, given that there are 54 of them, I have no idea whether or not they will all get graphic novelized. So your bet is as, sure as mine. But I really think that kids are going to love these. I don't know, again, I don't know if the regular novels go sideways on us. I haven't read them all. But the first 6 of the Animorphs that I have read was, I think, quite interesting. As with most middle grade novels, not all of the plot lines made total sense, but the illustration style I think kids are going to like a lot. I have noticed a trend toward this odd pink nose thing, like they're trying to like really shade in the nose, but then nobody has a bridge to their nose. It's just the front part. I don't know why this is a trend or a thing, but it's not my favorite. I wish people had bridges to their noses because it makes them a little bit more distinctive, I think. But other than my personal preference, I thought it was great. I love how the interesting animal facts are included as these kids turn into animorphs, as the title would suggest. They have to find out more and more about these animals, and it's really interesting to see which animals work well as an animorph and which work less well. They end up finding that hive-minded animals like ants, not great when you're trying to do a mission because you keep thinking that you just have to go do ant things. It's a problem. I like that they have to overcome these things. I really like that when they transgress the rules, there are serious life altering consequences that show up fast and they don't just get undone. I love the alien species in here. They are fascinating and the villains are creepifying. They're absolutely terrifying. If you don't like snails or slugs and the idea of one being in your brain bothers you, you're not going to enjoy this. Or if you don't mind being occasionally terrified and creeped out, then you might very well enjoy this, and that's something you might want to consider when giving this to a child. I think boys in particular will be drawn to this, though I don't see a reason why girls couldn't enjoy it too. There's even like the occasional we've been friends forever budding into, junior high romance kind of a thing where there's hand holding and whatnot. It's really sweet, at least as far as I can see. I do wish that some of the personal hangups that seem to be dealt with in one book continue to be dealt with, but it does feel like we rehash a lot of the same lessons and ideas with the same characters more than once throughout these 6 books. But then again, if you're reading them like I did all in one go, it'll feel more that way than if you're going a little bit slower because, you're a 9-year-old and you're reading at a slightly slower pace. Um, I like that the adults are present and intelligent, and some of the adults are making really bad choices for good reasons. I like that the villains are really villainous. There's no maybe they're just misunderstood. No, they're trying to wipe out our ecosystem so that they can breed more slug people. They're bad guys. We're going to exterminate them if we can. I'm all for a good versus evil story that doesn't try to complicate itself with a bunch of nonsensical moralizing. So, if you have, and I would say this tends a little bit younger, so if you've got an 8 to maybe a 12 or 13-year-old who's struggling, but really that 8 or 9-year-old range, the Animorphs graphic novel series. It's a good time. I give it a best beach reads. Anyway, that's all I have for today. If you've got a story you'd like to see the serpent take on, feel free to put it in the comments. Till next time, read on, write on, stay sharp.